Wow, wow, and then wow. Pretty weird way to start this video. Septimont 2.4 Wuthering Waves has got to be the best story in all of Wuthering Waves to date. Breathtaking, insane, and just peak cinema. From the arrival of Septimont, this story has got to be one of the most fun, lore-dropping, honest to God, exciting stories in all of Wuthering Waves we've had since maybe Shorekeeper and Camellia. I don't think I've been this excited for a story since the Black Shores because of the way Kudo executed Septimont's story. Fleur-de-Lis senses the Thernodium in Septimont, and when she gets there, she finds out that there's this dark tide in the makings. And so Fleur-de-Lis detects this shit, and she's like, "Hold up, I gotta do something about it." She comes to find out that there is this gladiator in Septimont named Contender Mia, who is the next harbinger of the dark tide, according to Furlova. But there are glimpses of Lupa being the harbinger of the next dark tide in Septimont. Septimont is supposed to be this gladiator Roman Empire setting. Septimont doesn't have a sentinel. They don't worship a sentinel. They believe that power comes within the people.
Without the blood spilled and sweat shed, Septimont would have known no peace, no stability. But the Ragunesi lost their way, treating the sentinel like some kind of divinity. They forget it's the strength of people that counts.
We do get a new character show up called Booling, who low-key came in clutch because she gives us this Timefall 2 device where you can like look back into the future or look into an alternate reality, and which helped us actually learn about Contender Mia and what she had to go through with like all the pressure building up against her as the best gladiator in Septimont.
I know Mia's unraveling, the hallucinations, the hysteria. It's been a lot.
Relax, Mia. You can do this. Hold on. It hasn't been all bad. I've met people who've supported me. They've cheered me on since I first stepped into the arena. But I know my limits.
Lupa, we get introduced later on, that has high respect throughout the city. Rover gets dragged into this, gets glimpses of Fleur-de-Lis's resonance and of just her remnants of where she is in Septimont, but she can never figure out where she is exactly, but she's left like little clues. We actually do get flashbacks in this alternate reality where Lupa is consumed by the dark tide and Fleur-de-Lis comes in and helps her out.
You need to rest before continuing this investigation. Your strength is spent.
Thank you for your help these past few days.
The main bread and butter is when we get towards the end of the story in the first half, where Lupa and Rover team up to go to the finals of the Gladiator Arena fight. And during this fight, Lupa loses a little bit of control, which makes Luno stop the match and make a decision of whether the match was match fixed by one of like the Silvas. The main lady gets busted for it, and she's basically deported out of Septimont to never come back.
Julia Silva, you know the weight of your actions. Leave Septimont. Do not ever return.
So as Lupa and Rover are fighting, we actually see Fleur-de-Lis fighting in a alternate reality. In this alternate reality, Fleur-de-Lis is going up against Arsenosa. Rover and Fleur-de-Lis are basically mirroring each other. They're mirroring each other in their own realities, fighting this big battle of theirs.
I'll be waiting for you at the end of the story.
Part one just ends with you and Lupa winning the finals. Part one, not that great. It wasn't that it wasn't great. It was just that I knew that they were going to deliver more. So part two, we begin with us meeting up with Lupa. We meet up with her and we go to this like the one fucking place. It was like the fucking Gladiator's Valor. And we're basically trying to find out about Mia and what this whole deal is with Cardathia and her linking up together in the alternate realities that Christopho has written. Christopho is this script writer who has the ability to make a script within a book and it creates it into an actual reality. So one thing you need to know in Wuthering Waves is that there's a thing called a sonorosphere. These sonorosphere are basically like the dungeons you go into to get materials for your characters and weapons. That's a sonorosphere. Christopho is basically able to use his abilities to make an alternate reality within these sonorospheres.
Before her death, Mia also attended the tournament. I'll use that as the fictitious anchor to craft a play to rewrite reality itself. I'll fashion a story for this sea creature, enabling it to fulfill what it once sought, to have the dark tides swallow Septimont whole. This play is nothing more than an amplifier designed to nurture the Threnodian's lingering power. Once it grows large enough, I'll overlay the Sonoro onto reality.
In his book, Lupa had to go into to finish off because Rover is like, look, there is this play. I've read through it, and you're the only one who can actually get through this and finish it because you're the most important one in this. You have the role of the protagonist to get through this story.
Lupa, this is something only you can do.
Tell me what I need to do.
Read the script. Adapt as required. I believe in you, warrior.
In this alternate reality, we're told by Lupa that she kept remembering a lot of these things but didn't really know what the hell was going on. Lupa can't remember her name, and that's because in those storylines, Lupa isn't the main character, with Cardathia helping her out until her death.
You didn't forget. Someone stole your role in the story. Even your name on the placards in the arena would be unreadable. Your existence has been erased. Only by unmaking this story can it be reclaimed.
Lupa actually dies, and Fleur-de-Lis is there with her to the very end. And what's even crazier, and what I loved a lot about this story, when Lupa is dying from the dark tide consuming her body, Fleur-de-Lis leaves her residence to help Lupa find Rover, or let Rover know that Fleur-de-Lis is helping out Lupa and they're in Septimont.
Must be quite the person, eh? I wish I could meet him and see how he does it.
Then you will see for yourself. Jump to a new story and bring my message to that person.
All right, Cardathia. I'll try my best. First, tell me, what is that person's name?
Lupa finds out that contender Mia, who went missing like 20 years ago, was taken by the Dark Tide. And in order for contender Mia to not be consumed by it, she tried killing herself and went into the sea to not be a puppet. In her own words, I'd rather die than be a puppet. So she just kills herself and just goes into the sea. But the head of the Silva, the lady that Lupa didn't like, was told by Cristofo to go and retrieve her body so she can be a vessel to the Dark Tide. Once Lupa figures this out, she ends up finding contender Mia consumed by the Dark Tide and infused with the Morning Ash that has been consumed by the Dark Tide as well, which just looks like a straight up fucking abomination. The guitar solo that you get in the Lupa versus contender Mia boss fight was so amazing. In the final cutscene that we get, Fleur-de-Lis tries to get one last hit on Cristofo. Scar is back. He somehow made it out of fucking prison and he's back and teamed up with Cristofo. I missed this detail. He throws a fucking card at Fleur-de-Lis's attack and he just creates like a dome that just basically counters it and does absolutely fucking nothing to initiate a reaction out of Cristofo and Scar. That last line that Cristofo says to Fleur-de-Lis where he's like, let's have some like secrecy, man. I don't want to spoil the next draft I got coming up, the next script I got coming up. In the final cutscene that we get, we break out of the cycle, or we break out of Cristofo's plays in his book. Lupa manages to get back into the real world. Once all that is said and done, we're back as Rover, teaming up back up with Cardathia and Lupa and talking about what they had gone through. We also get the reasons of why Cardathia ended up coming to Septimont was because she sensed something weird was going on with the Thronodian in Septimont, and just because it's like her hometown and she didn't want to let that shit slide. Rover actually suggests to Cardathia to go to the Black Shores to figure out how to stop the next Dark Tide or stop the next course of events that the Fractidus are planning upon Septimont. If that happens, dude, we can honest to God get a shit ton of lore dropped on us. If Cardathia decides to go to the Black Shores, maybe this is what we're gonna have in the next big update. The After Story Quest 2 were a really cool cherry on top in my opinion, because we get 3 after quests with Lupa, Cardathia, and Wuthering. And so Cardathia is having a little salad. She gets her sense of taste back, and then she drops a fucking lore bomb where she tells us that for quite a while in Septimont, she's been watching from a distance her original parents and their new adoptive daughter. Obviously, because she looks a whole lot different, they don't remember her. Their memories of Cardathia being their daughter was taken away, and she couldn't live with the fact that if they had known that Cardathia was their daughter and that their daughter was like taken away or some shit, she couldn't live with that burden that they would be sad for the rest of their lives knowing their daughter was taken away from them. And she can live with the fact that they at least don't remember her, but they're living a really good life with their new daughter. Damn, dude, like I really should have pulled for Cardathia, man. That shit was so fucking lit. And then Lupa's after quest as well was really dope too, because she invites you over to like her fucking crib in the hotel, and then she just gets fucking drunk. She gets drunk off of like wheat juice. She still just says, you know what, Rover, a little drink can just help not having to think about the heaviness that I still feel even after all the shit we've been through. Even with that, I'm still gonna support you, Rover. If you ever need me, just let me know, no matter how far we are. And then that's where Lupa leaves us off with like that really cool quote. And this is so fire with that. And then Wuthering also gets an after quest. She just says, you know, Rover, I gotta go back. I just came here as a vacation trip. You know, I wanted to help you out because I just wanted to help you out, you know? And her accent, the way her accent is played in this story too is like really dope. I actually kind of like it.
Mysticism, talisman divination, fortune telling, you name it, I bling it. So, you wanna try your luck, fa?
In conclusion, Septimont Part 1 and 2 have been incredibly amazing stories. Lupa's engagement in part 2, the amount of playtime you get with her was the perfect amount to really sell her as a new character, because you get to play with Lupa for more than a majority, for more than like 60-70% of the story in part 2. You play as Lupa. We haven't had that at all, at least to the best of my recollection, in all of Wuthering Waves. Like, yeah, we got to play a little bit with all the other characters, but not as much as we did with Lupa in part 2. We finally now have antagonists who have shown us just how fucking reality bending and mind bending their abilities are in Stellaris 3. You got motherfuckers who could write a play and make a whole goddamn script about some shit, and it'll turn into reality. Literally the fucking reality stone. And then you have Frolova, who can almost do the exact same fucking thing, but summon tacit discords at her own will. Scar, that motherfucker just turns into a goddamn furry and just beats the shit out of everything. This story that we have going on with Wuthering Waves at the moment, honestly now picking up the pace in my opinion, because we haven't had something this exciting, in my opinion, since the Black Shores that we have in Wuthering Waves currently at the moment. It's currently my top one. And I say that with the best of hopes that they continue to keep executing this story as time goes on. Fingers crossed that we get more and more peak as this game goes on, like we did with the Black Shores and now with Septimont. But yeah, that's Septimont 2.4 Wuthering Waves. Currently Lupa is out. You can get her in her weapon if you want to go for it. And I'm honestly excited, man. I really am excited for what's to come in Wuthering Waves after this update. Fingers crossed that Kuro doesn't drop the ball on this. It is a 10 out of 10. It is for real a 10 out of 10. I cannot believe the way it really made me this excited to make a video about it. Hopefully you guys feel the same way as I do. Maybe you guys don't like it, maybe you guys did like this story, and if you don't, that's fine. If you did, that's also fine. Did you pull for Lupa? Are you excited for those future characters, or are you not? Or are you just kind of waiting to see what happens with this game? Thank you so much for watching or listening. It takes nothing to just subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see you on the next episode, and peace the fuck out.